Now that your brain dump is complete, it's time to get started implementing a system by outlining the relevant components. The system is the one single receptacle where you'll keep all of your tasks and projects, where you'll prioritize, where you'll update, and most importantly, where you'll go to determine what you need to do each day. The format of your system is going to be based on personal preference. And while I did say one single system, if you are a segmenter, you might choose one system for home and one for work. That's okay too. Integrators who are happy being integrators often find it easier to have one system that encompasses both work and home tasks. And if you are an integrator who would really prefer to be a segmenter, then having separate systems for work and home can be a good way to start creating boundaries. Going forward in this course, when you speak about a system, we are referring to either of these options. For many people, the system you choose is going to be an app, something that works on both mobile and desktop. Some people may prefer a spreadsheet, and some people prefer paper. All of that is fine. However, if you think that paper is the best method for you, I'm actually going to recommend that you use an electronic system to house everything and that you use paper on a daily basis to write out your to-dos. In your planner, in your bullet journal, or whatever method works well for you. The reason I recommended this is that if you decide to keep your system in 100% paper, you're going to find it a lot harder to prioritize. You're going to be doing a lot of writing and rewriting, and you're not going to be able to easily sort out your tasks. And it's possible that you'll lose it or misplace it. The horror. So if you like paper, that's fine. But please use it in conjunction with another method for best results. Attached to this lecture is a resource that lists some great apps you can use. If you don't have a system in mind already, as well as a link to a basic spreadsheet template for tasks that should do the trick if spreadsheets are your thing. The important thing to remember is this. The system that's easy and convenient for you is the system you should choose. Now let's talk about the components of your system. Whatever system you choose, you'll need to have the following fields: task or project name. You make it as specific as possible. Q1 goals are better than goals. Monthly revenue report is better than reports. Next action. This is really important. This is a step that is most often overlooked, but it really helps to avoid procrastination, and it pushes projects forward. It's easier to procrastinate on something like get more clients than something specific like make a list of people in my network that I can reach out to for referrals. The next action should be concrete and doable. And sometimes it's as simple as block time on calendar to brainstorm about this, or call Melly to ask about X. Then we have the next action date. You'll want to set a next action date. And this is a really important feature that I don't want to gloss over. Some tasks have real deadlines and many don't. Adding arbitrary deadlines to tasks and projects that don't actually have them creates unnecessary anxiety without being truly helpful. The next action date is a different concept altogether. The next action date is when you're going to perform the next action. It's different from the due date, and it's what drives the work forward. This is what allows you to show up in the morning and know this is what I need to do today to meet my goals and deadlines. Also, sometimes you know several next actions for a task or a project. You can enter them all in at once, and sometimes you'll only know the direct next action. That's okay. Due date. Some tasks and projects do have hard deadlines, and of course you're going to want to know what these are. So if something doesn't have a deadline, add it in. If you're using a system that only has one date field, you can also set the due date in the name of the field of the task. But use the date field for your next action date's status. I typically only use 3 statuses: started, in progress, and done. But you might have other workflows depending on your role. So use the statuses that make sense to you. Depending on your system, you could also experiment with color coding. You may also want to have a status for each to be prioritized. This is sort of like your someday maybe list that you can filter out if you need to. And finally, documentation or notes. The documentation or notes field is also really important. This is where you enter a brief note and date each time you perform a next action. By spending 10 seconds making a note about what you did and when you did it, you'll make your future self so happy and productive. Gone will be the days when you think to yourself, when did I leave that message for Joe? Is it time for me to follow up? And you don't have to be searching through your email to check when you sent a message. You may also want to have fields or tags, like category or type, especially if you are using one system for work and personal combined. And if you want to sort your tasks into contexts, buckets, like David Allen suggests in his seminal work, Getting Things Done, or a type of work such as marketing, sales, or logistics, you can use tags as well. You'll also likely notice that I haven't mentioned priority as a field. If it's helpful for you to add a priority field, feel free. However, once you have everything in your system and it's sorted by next action date, I find that priority becomes an unnecessary field, as you've already taken care of that by deciding the next action date. Next, we'll do an activity that will help us to add all the tasks that aren't in our brains into our system. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you found these tips helpful in boosting your efficiency, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. For those of you looking to take your game to the next level, consider checking out the resources in the description to unlock exclusive strategies tailored just for you. And before you go, make sure to check out the next video on our channel for even more insights and techniques to supercharge your efficiency. Remember, with the right tools and mindset, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Until next time, stay focused and stay productive.